Hi guys, Paul from Locks in the City. Following on from my last video, which was video 5, so we're on video 6 now. These might go a bit sporadic, but it's just as a topic coming to my head that I think about. I'm going to talk about them, you know. But as I say, guys, in other videos, if anyone's got questions or something that they want me to talk about, put it in the comments below. You know, I'll read the comments. I normally reply to the comments as well, so if there's anything you guys would like me to discuss or go over, then just put it in there, you know, and within reason I can talk about it, you know. I'm not really going to be into talking badly about individuals or companies or anything like that. This isn't what this is about. This is about how this is going to benefit guys, you know, who are contemplating setting up, or companies that are already trading, and you know, things that, you know, whether they're relatively new or even years. You know, I'm still learning. I mean, I'm 7 years down the line, 8 years down the line in my own business. And you're forever you're forever learning off other people and sort of seeing things that you sort of think, well, I never thought of that, you know. So it's a learning curve for everyone. So I'm happy to hear other people's ideas as well as give my own. So what I was going to sort of do today is to sort of literally go through all the different aspects of things to consider when I set up the business. You know, I've never been involved in my own business before, so everything was a learning curve, you know, from, you know, the first meeting with the accountant, signing all the paperwork, you know, the company's house business, and, you know, just how important it is to register the company name, you know, ensuring that you're the only person with that name. You know, I'd already done the website, so I knew that that domain was free, so I was, you know, you just kind of took that as that was it. But no, so from day one, you know, it's been a learning curve up till now. It's still a learning curve, you know. Obviously you get a bit more resilient, and you get a bit more knowledgeable, and, you know, as each year passes, you know what's coming up, what you need to do, you know. But again, you know, like a minefield, you know, setting up insurance, liability insurance, you know, you just think, oh, I just need to get business insurance, you know. Each business is different. The different types of work that you're going to do might be niche to other locksmiths, you know. If you do a lot of repairs and gate automation and stuff like that, you're going to be doing, most likely you're going to be doing welding and hot work stuff, you know, so your insurance is going to fluctuate there. If you're moving safes and got all lifting gear and you're working in people's houses with higher risk of damage, you know, if you were to drop a safe or something like that, and you cause a lot of damage, you know. So people's insurances are going to fluctuate. So, you know, you've got your, as I said before, you've got your public liability, you've got indemnity, you've got, you know, all these different tool cover, you know, and then you've got your van insurance, which comes with tool cover, and it's knowing what to do. So, you know, when you're first doing it, it is such a minefield. But what I would say is, from day one, insure your business, and try and not to just go for the cheapest cover, you know, because in your first couple of years is where you're potentially going to make mistakes. You know, you might do something wrong, and, you know, if someone put in a claim or something was to happen and you haven't got anything, you know, no financial backing behind you, you know, you could learn the hard way. You know, you could be fitting a lock to someone's door, smash a pane of glass, you know, you could be fitting a window handle, and, you know, the screw's just slightly too long, and it puts a bit of pressure on the frame somewhere and just causes a little hairline chip, or a little chip that's already in the glass, to just crack. You know, even today, you know, anyone who does it, you can have a mistake, but obviously you're probably more chance of making mistakes that are going to be quite expensive at the beginning. So I'd say to people, never skimp out on your insurance. You know, even as an experienced business, you know, because that could be the difference of, you know, taking out your profit massively, you know. So when you're doing your insurances, you know, look for the type of cover you're going to get. Ensure that, you know, for the money that you're paying, that you feel that you're getting your worth, you know, and don't scrimp on it, you know, because you could get a cheaper insurance, save yourself a few £100 or a couple of £100 or even 50 quid, but compare them insurances with each other. You know, there might be, you know, you're looking at what the end figure that you're paying, but if you have to make a claim against anything and you have to pay, you know, your first the first £100 for argument's sake, the next insurance company that you do that give you the cheapest quote, it might be you have to pay £150, so you save £50, you know, on the end price. But if you have to make a claim, you're pay that £50 back, because you've got to pay, you know, instead of paying £100, you might have to pay £150 against the first claim. So always read all of that sort of stuff, guys, and, you know, I'd always insure yourself for the maximum possible. I tend to do 10 million. I probably don't ever work on a business or a job that's, you know, where I could cause that amount of damage, but again, you know, you could do something that potentially could kill someone in an accident. You know, I'm not saying that people are going to do that intentionally, but you just never know. And what sort of price do you put on a life, you know? So just go for the maximum, guys. Again, the same with your vehicle insurance. Ensure you get good cover. You put tool cover on there, you know, and if you are carrying stuff, you know, just don't skimp out. I also took out cover so that if I was ever called up for oh, what do you call it now, jury service, you know, I put in cover for that. I put in cover so that if I was ever injured and I couldn't work, that you had an income coming in, you know, you could start claiming for an income. And I think it was like £300–400 a week, you know, so I knew that any bills that came in, you know, if I was laid up off work for, I don't know, any period of time, whether it be a few weeks to a few months, that I had some form of cover there to protect me. So it's always worthwhile ensuring you put all these things in place. Ensure your tools are covered. You know, they're going to be what bring in the money. Without your tools, you know, you're going to be knackered. So always ensure that your tools are covered. You know, and something now, I mean, it's become more apparent now, but, you know, back when I first started, it probably wasn't as prominent, but van tool theft, you know, the amount of tradesmen now whose vans are being done, or just any vehicle that looks easy, I suspect, you know, guys are losing their tools. So I'd invest in good quality van vaults, you know, van tool storage, you know, ensure that they're bolted down. It's all well and good having these units in the van, but, you know, if they're not bolted down and they've got handles on them, and there's normally a couple of these guys together, they'll just pick it up and load it in, and you've made it a lot easier because they can grab all your tools in one go, chuck it in the back of their van, car, and just drive off. You know, bolt it all down, ensure that it's secure, and just make sure you put all your tools in there. You know, put your extra security on the vehicle, put on a decent alarm, you know, if you haven't got an alarm. Just do everything that you can to safeguard yourself. You know, even if you're in a low crime rate area, it doesn't matter. You know, these people are travelling around, they're going all over the place, they're just hitting everywhere and anywhere at the minute. And, you know, thankfully I've never been targeted, but I can't rely on the fact, well, it's not happened up till now, you know, so I'll be alright. So just a word of warning, just to, you know, these are the sort of things that at the beginning it's quite easy to sort of just brush under the carpet. Everyone's more interested in just getting out there and earning money, and, you know, I totally understand that. Again, you know, get yourself some decent business cards. You know, if you're not going to sign write your vehicle, I understand why some people feel, well, if I sign write my vehicle, everyone's going to know what I do, they're going to know the types of tools that I carry, you know. But again, it doesn't matter. I mean, the amount of vehicles that I've seen that are not sign written, that have been broken into, I wouldn't say that there's any difference in that, you know, these people are just taking a chance. For the amount of time it takes them to open some of these vehicles, they're not bothered whether they're sign written or not. They know that, you know, an unsigned written vehicle will carry just as expensive tools as a vehicle that's sign written. So if sign writing is something in the back of your mind, well, I might get it, but I'm just worried about what people think. I kind of think that the more benefit you're going to get in terms of signage and people acknowledging your business is, you know, sign writing has probably been one of my most effective methods of getting work. You know, as I've said in another video, I can be in a petrol garage, people will come up to you while you're filling up the van. Can I take a business card? Do you do this? Do you do that? Do you do with cars? You know, even on like my clothing, you know, you've got your logo, or, you know, people can see that you're something to do with locksmithing, and you could be just paying for your shopping and someone just come, oh, do you do this? Do you deal with that? Yeah, okay. And just have some business cards in your wallet, in your pocket, in your hoodie, you know. But pay to have a night. I mean, I'm not saying you need to spend a fortune, but, you know, if you're just going to hand out one of these flimsy little cards that's just got Locksmith on it and a mobile number, you're gonna get work from it, don't get me wrong, but you want something that someone's going to remember, you know. So I get mine done on a thick quality card, you know. They're orange and black, they stand out like a sore thumb. And then when you go into some of these places like Tool Station and stuff like that, they allow you to put your business cards up on a pinboard. And when I go into these places, obviously I can see my card. As soon as I walk in, if my card's up there, I can see it. It stands out like a sore thumb. And the same with some other people that have got a similar idea, you know, if they've got green and stuff like that. You put it on the board and it's the first thing that catches your eye, and you're always going to look at the one that catches your eye. All of the other white ones, there's nothing on there to catch your eye. You know, so you tend to sort of skim them, and if you are going to read them, you're going to read them last. So don't skimp out on that, you know. Get yourself a decent uniform, you know. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with going out in jeans and trainers or anything like that, you know. If that's what you're comfortable with, you carry on with that. It's absolutely fine. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong. But I think a lot of the times, to be taken, you know, it's been taken seriously and people sort of think you're a proper tradesman. They kind of expect someone to turn up in, you know, boots or, you know, smart working shoes. You know, I wear combats myself, you know, like tradesman trousers with all additional pockets. If you're approaching someone's property and they see that, you know, again, it's kind of like an ID. People tend to, if you're in the right gear, they don't question anything. They, you know, because you look the part. You've got the tradesman trousers on, you know, you've got your sign written top, which matches the rest of your vehicle livery and any of your stationery or anything like that. You know, I use a decent tool bag. You know, I walk up to the door with, you know, with, I want people to sort of feel when I turn up to the door that they haven't got to watch me in case they think that I'm taking shortcuts. I want people to feel that, oh, I've called a professional and they've turned up. But as I say, guys, you know, those of you that are comfortable wearing trainers and jeans, or even whether you wear shorts or whatever, you know, I'm not saying that it's gospel. I just find that that's what works for me. And if I had someone coming into my house, a tradesman or whatever, to do work, it's the sort of things that I look out for, you know. So yeah, so spend a bit of money on uniform. It doesn't have to be a massive amount. I mean, my uniform didn't really cost me a great deal at all. The trousers I just got from Screwfix. My tops, you know, I had polo tops, jumpers, hoodies. I had a jacket done. I think I spent about $300-400. I mean, I went for a premium quality material and I went for a jacket that wasn't cheap. But to me, that was beneficial because I'm going to be wearing it all of the time. So, but again, just get your details on there. Again, your vehicle, as I spoke about earlier, you know, if you don't want to have your vehicle sign written, again, there's no issues with that. But if you want the best form of money per advert, then I have to say that my vehicles probably earned me more money than anything. The checker trades, you know, I tried pay-per-click for about 3 weeks, and it's the biggest pile of rubbish I've ever had. Other people will tell you totally different, and that's fine. You know, they found something that worked for them, so I'm not going to knock that. It didn't work for me. I chose to, you know, I didn't want to be throwing huge amounts of money out there. Yeah, the rewards can be great, but it's a gamble all of the time. So instead of spending you know, £2,000-3,000 on pay-per-click a month, I'd rather spend a decent chunk of money on a decent sign writing that's going to remain on your vehicle for 2, 3, 4 years, you know, and you only pay for it once. You know, and as I say, everything ties in, you know, your business card, your uniform, the sign written on your vehicle. If I send an email, invoice, you know, everything ties, everything matches. I'm looking at, you know, I need my website to be updated. It's got a bit dated, and that's something that I'll talk about. You know, I at the beginning I created my own website, and to be fair, I was getting work from it, but then at that point I wanted to up my game, so I moved over to someone who was managing my website, and I wasn't massively happy with it. I mean, it was all right, but it wasn't what I had, you know, like with my logo. When the guy who did my logo done it and I looked at it, I was like, yeah, that's it, that's perfect, don't touch it. When I looked at this website, it'd taken so long to get to the point that it was at, I just wanted it up and out, and I was like, yeah, that's fine, that'll do. You know, again, it wasn't perfect, it just, that will do, and you shouldn't do that, but at the time, you know, I just needed it up and running, and then the ongoing maintenance of it wasn't perfect. But again, you know, I took it over, and it's still not perfect now. It's nowhere near perfect, but it's working, it brings in work, you know, and it will do until I'm at a point where I've got time to just concentrate on it. Ideally, I'd like to go back to building my own one, but, you know, it's not as easy as it was. You know, you've got a lot to contemplate now, but we'll have a look at it going forward. So we spoke about business cards, we spoke about uniforms, sign writing and everything else. Your invoicing, again, whether you choose to do it on carbon pads or you choose to do it online, you know, try and make everything look professional. You know, when you're filling in your invoice, don't just put in there attends, change one lock. You know, put a bit of detail in there. Doesn't need to be a great deal, but, you know, break it down and make it a written job description, as it were. You know, you don't have to necessarily put materials, names, you know, full name and everything to, you know, but just break it down, you know, make it look professional. I mean, I learned that quite early on. So we've done insurances. You know, it's all these little things that sort of tend to get overlooked at the beginning. You know, you're so eager to just get on the road, go and earn some money, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But I said again previously that I've always been about your profile, how you come across, how you look, you know, and image has always been quite important to me. You know, I want someone, when they look at my van, to sort of think, wow, that's nice, you know, what do they do, you know? You know, you don't want crap all over your dashboard and parking tickets and newspapers and everything else like that, you know. Again, if, you know, I know builders and, you know, many tradesmen do it, but, you know, it's sort of a typical scaffolder and builders sort of trade you sort of see in the front of their vehicles. And, you know, I personally don't like it, and I just think if you've got a decluttered, you know, dash and cab of your van, it's always a good sign. You know, I struggle to keep the cab clear because you're forever stopping, but, you know, I always try and keep the windows and the vehicle as clean and professional looking as possible. what else have we got? So again, like your telephone manner, just something simple as much as your telephone manner. You know, if someone calls you up and you go, hello, you know, they're always going to sort of say, oh, is this the locksmith? You know, answer the phone quite chirpy, hello locksmith. You know, you don't have to give your company name, but just hello locksmith. So they kind of know from the offstart that they've called a locksmith, you know. It's all well and good just ringing a mobile number, you know, but you could be ringing anyone, you know, just because they've seen the number on Google. It just gives them that reaffirming that they've called the right number, you know. It's quite easy to sort of get a bit groggy and frustrated on the phone, and I'll be straight up with you, I'm guilty of it, you know. Sometimes some people can get you on, you know, get your back up straight away because just the demeanour on the phone, but, you know, you need to just try hard to not bite, you know, because you never know who you're talking to or what it could lead to, you know, and it could be quite easy to lose a contact. And although you might not ever make a massive amount of money from them, if they pass your number on to someone else, you know, that chain can forever continue. But it is hard sometimes. Some people do push you past that limit of where you just sort of think, I don't really care at a minute, you know, you're essentially taking a piss. So yeah, always try and keep as a professional telephone manner. Leave yourself a good voicemail. You know, the amount of times I call, whether it's a customer or other businesses, and you can't leave a voicemail, you know, or the phone rings ages and ages and ages before it gets to voicemail, but before it gets to voicemail the customer's hung up because, you know, they're in a bit of urgency. They want to know that they've got someone to get hold of, so they're very quick to you know, if someone doesn't answer straight away, right, let's move on to the next one. So, you know, do a few rings or get into the habit that if someone's ringing and you can't answer, that you've got a means to put your phone through to voicemail. Leave a polite voicemail. You know, on mine, I tend to put on there, if this is an emergency, please just text the word urgent to this number, and as soon as I'm able to, I will deal with that call. That then lets them know that if you don't answer and they text urgent, that there's still a chance that you're going to call them back very soon, and there's a chance that you're putting work towards you still. You know, you're giving that customer that option. You know, just saying, oh, please leave a name and number and I'll get back to you. A lot of people sort of think, well, if I do that, they're not going to get back to me or whatever. But if I send a text, they're going to see that straight away. So I'll just get them to text the word urgent, and you'll be surprised the amount of people that actually do text the word urgent. And I've still maintained to get hold of that job. It could be I'm on the phone to someone else. You know, recently I've had to renew my insurance on the van, and you know what it's like if you're on the phone to an insurance company. You can be on the phone for 10 minutes, you could be on the phone for half hour, you know, and you can always guarantee before you was on the phone, your phone was quiet. You phone someone, and then that's when everyone wants to talk to you. You know, it's inevitable. So with that, I just get, you know, it goes through to voicemail, and then these people have got the option to send me urgent. So it's something else that I found that is of great benefit to me. And again, you know, at the beginning, I always found it quite handy that I went and parked, because my vehicle was sign written. You go to different places and park the van up, just park there for, you know, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, you know, park in a place that people are going to be passing regularly, you know, they just see your vans stood out, you know, the company name, you know, what you want is someone, if they ever get locked out, to remember you and why they remember you. So with my company, Locks in the City, at the time when I was looking for a business name, I read different things online and finding the perfect, you know, there's all these key surgeon you're looking at and all these trying to be clever, you know, Dr. Locky and like you spelt Locky with the word lock and key. It's all, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, call your business whatever you want. But I wanted something that was going to be remembered. I wanted something that if someone drove past me, saw my vehicle, that they'd be like, oh, what was the name of that locksmith? And it would just come to the tip of the tongue, you know. So at the time, when I was reading these different things, there was one thing that I read. I can't remember where I read it. I can't even link to it because I can't remember how I found it now. But it was online, and it was a guy who said about, you know, how to create the perfect business name. And his idea was to link it to programs or to different things that people would always remember, you know, whether it be a popular TV program, a popular song, popular celebrity. You know, if you had something that would affiliate to that or sounded similar, or you just gave them something that was a trigger. So with mine, Locks in the City, at the time, Sex in the City was very popular. You know, it was massive, absolutely massive, that program. It was always on the news. Well, I say news, you know, like, it was always on TV, it was always in the newspaper, you know, wherever you went, people were talking about it. And I came up with all these different names, and then when I read that, while I was reading the article, you know, I thought, well, I live in London, the city. Do I call it London Locksmiths? There's other things there, and it sounded like a bit of a national one. No, and then you start playing around with different words, and then somewhere, I couldn't tell you exactly where, but Locks in the City came to mind, and I was like, you know, it resonates with Sex in the City. You know, that sounds perfect. And when I told from other people, they're a bit, oh, I don't know, does it sound right? It's quite a long name. But I carried on looking for other names, and I just, in the back of my mind, I just had Locks in the City, Locks in the City, and it just stayed with me, and I just couldn't get it out of my head. And I just thought, you know what, I think that's a good name, you know. And it says everything, locks, and in the city, you know, City of London, you know, working uptown in central London, people class that as a London city, you know. So it all sort of tied, and that's how I rolled with it. The same night I registered it as a web domain, and with all of that in mind, you know, and that's how Locks in the City's name sort of came about. But something strange also happened. I thought people would just associate it with Sex in the City, and that it, you know, as well, something else I read, that the same guy who was helping people to choose business name, like giving his idea, said that in emergency things, so like recovery, vehicle recovery, electricians, plumbers, it tended to be a woman that would ring the tradesman, because the hubbies were too proud to, you know, oh, I can fix it. So they always said to use something that was related to women. And again, Locks in the City, Sex in the City, it was, in my eyes, like a match made in heaven. So that's why I rolled with that, and I stayed with it, and I'm more than happy that I stayed with that. Yeah, so going forward, that's where everything sort of stuck, really, and that was my final deciding moment. So again, your company name is going to be important. You know, if I can give you any advice for those that are looking to set up a business name, you know, there's nothing wrong if you live in Northampton and you want to call yourself Northampton Locksmith, so long as no one else is doing that. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want a bit of advice, you know, when we go looking for stuff ourselves, it's your eyes and your ears that tend to be what make you decide whether you're going to buy something. You'll buy it because it looks nice or it sounds nice, you know. It's all of these senses. So, you know, it's not always just mentally that we choose on something, you know. It's all these other things around it that help us make that decision. So I'm going to leave that one there. That's the main things that I'm going to outline so far. So business name, you know, your insurances, your tool cover, your vehicle, your sign writing. They're probably one of the most sort of important things to get done. Obviously there's other things that should be on the top of that list, but we're at half hour, so I need to call it quits here, and we'll talk further in it. But again, guys, leave messages in the description. You know, if there's anything you want to talk about, or you want my take on something, just put it in the description and we'll take it from there. So again, guys, if you want to like, subscribe and share, that would be great. If you hit the bell notification, in future any new videos that I upload, you'll get a notification that I've uploaded, so you won't have to log on to YouTube every day to have a look to see if I've uploaded a new video, because at the minute I've got no set pattern. It's just as and when I do a video and I can edit it and I can put it up, I will do so. I'll probably look at trying to do maybe 2 videos a week, you know, or 3 videos a week, because I think if I did one every day, the novelty would wear off and with people, and I'd probably run out of things to talk about pretty quick. So 2 or 3 a week I think is realistic. You know, it's a bit hard to sort of show you me working, because 1, I'm on my own, 2, you're dealing in customers' properties and they're not always going to be keen on you filming in their property, and they're going to think it's a bit weird, you know, you're talking to yourself or talking to a camera while you're working on their property. So it's a little bit hard in that sense. But if I get jobs where I'm able to do so, you know, where property's empty or anything like that, then I'll try and film where I can with the GoPro and everything else, and we'll sort of take it from there. But in terms of anything else, guys, as I said, just put it in the description below, and I'll catch you again soon. Cheers, guys.